Hi, I'm Bill McKenna, the founder of Cognomovement. Uh, I guess this all started in a strange way. I had really no business in this type of work. I was really involved in high-tech sales, computerized automation of retail in every respect, and payment processing. And as fate would have it, one day I I accidentally had a spiritual awakening. That's about the only word that I could really utilize for this. But it happened. It happened. And I guess I didn't really know what a chakra was. And but I had an abrupt, aggressive opening of my crown chakra. And that particular energy center opens you up to a lot of information. And so I experienced a flood of new insights about my life and life in general. And with it, uh, I ultimately went from a person who was very interested in serving me, numero uno, to being of service to others. And I can only describe it as compelled. And I began to study many different modalities and helping people by the thousands. When I began to understand things different, the thoughts of Cognomovement just basically came to me. And I ended up trying it out. The idea, that is, a ball with these symbols and colors on it, and throwing it to a person and having them to basically feel whatever the biggest problem in their life was. The very first session was kind of odd. I had a friend who I'd known since I was 18. I asked him to, help me out to try something new. It's going to sound a little bit weird, but I want you to focus on an issue, whatever the biggest issue in your life. I didn't know what that was, and catch this ball. And we did it. I had no idea what the issue was, but as we began doing this side to side movement with Cognomovement, he experienced extraordinary heat in his belly button. And he said, "My belly button's hot." And he was sweating profusely. I'm dry as a whistle, and he's sweating. And I thought that was really funny. Like, a hot belly button? Have you ever? Whoever has a hot belly button? I mean, your head gets hot, or maybe you feel overall sweaty, but not a hot belly button. That's very strange. So anyway, I kept on with the process. And within a few minutes, he said that he was going to have a heart attack. He literally was like, my heart, it hurts. I'm going to have a heart attack. And I was like, no, you're not. I knew he wasn't. And he wasn't trying to be dramatic, but he really felt the pain. And we just kept going. A few minutes later, and I just said, keep focused on the issue. I didn't even know what the issue was. And within a few minutes, he began to choke. And he was like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I said, how's your heart? And he said, my heart's fine. Heart's fine. Okay, just keep going. Keep focused on the issue. And a few minutes passed, and he started breathing normally, but his head right here, he felt like there was a lot of pain right in his middle of his forehead. And then a few minutes later, it moved to the top of his head, and it was gone. The session didn't last very long. at all. I don't know, maybe it was 12 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. And I didn't know really what it was all about, but he was very confounded because it was such a big issue for him. And he basically felt nothing about it, which was very odd. You can imagine having the world's biggest event situation for yourself, and then all of a sudden you cannot actually feel a thing about it. And he just said, I'm really confused because I can't feel anything. The only word is peace around it. And anyway, hit the fast forward button. Him and his wife were over at my house months and months later, and the wife started talking about the house that they had, to a few houses that they had bought in Utah, and that they were cash flow positive day one. That so much so that they, thousands of dollars used to pay down the houses. So they did this with hardly anything down. It was like, that doesn't make any sense here in where I live. That not possible. But that's in fact what happened. And also he had turned part of his other property, that his house, into a rental unit, which generated more income. And the wife said, well, all this became possible after that session. And I said, well, gosh, what was that about anyway? And he said, well, gosh, I was about retirement, coming up on retirement. I ain't got no retirement. I don't know, I'm going to buy a trailer and go move to the desert and, drink whiskey in a trailer and, tumbleweeds and, screen doors banging in the wind. It's going to be one of them type situations. As I like to say, that methamphetamine lifestyle, and so anyway, he actually had this transition. All these things started occurring to him, like, oh, I could just do this. I could just buy these houses and they're going to get paid off. And then, oh yeah, I can make extra money on this. Well, anyway, so many years have passed now that I've seen the full cycle. Not only did he do all this, but that money continued to come in. He paid down and off the houses, and all this money coming in ends up actually retiring. And he says, I got more money than I can spend every month. So anyway, that was the result of one session that was the very first Cogno Movement session. And from there, I called Liz, and the whole thing exploded. It was an amazing journey of discovery. And the interesting thing, I think, for myself and Liz, is that it's a ever evolving discovery. There's not a week that goes by that we don't have some sort of actually mind-blowing discovery that comes about. And it's a joy. So Liz had brought her skills here to it, and different perspectives, right away. And we have worked together 7 days a week, and we're enjoying it.